there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brianna, this is Breland's Books. I'm wearing the same thing as my last video because I didn't think I was going to have time to film, but surprise, I did have time to film a second video. So I'm filming this on Tuesday, but for you, it's Friday or later. What is this? Today I'm going to be doing my October wrap-up and November TBR in one. And I'm pretty proud of myself as far as getting through. I had 10 books on my October TBR list, and I got through 7 of them, and 1 of them I am dropping. We'll get to that. I'm also going to just mention the books that I read for school this month, even though I didn't put those in my TBR. I read them. This is in no particular order because I don't remember the order in which I finished them. So, I got through Pandemonium by Lauren Oliver, which is the second in the Delirium trilogy. I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed the contrast between Lena, her name is Lena, between the characters in the first book compared to this book, and there's like, oh, it was good. There was a twist at the end that I kind of saw coming because I might have accidentally read a spoiler about it, but whatever, I'm still excited about it. So, really enjoyed this. Yes. I also finished 1,000 Pieces of You by Claudia Gray, which is about a girl chasing her father's murderer through dimensions, and oh my gosh, I'm in love with this book. I think it's one of my new favorites, and it's just so well written, such interesting characters, such interesting worlds that she creates as the other dimensions, and just, oh my gosh, so good. Third book that I finished, Wicked by Sarah Shepard, part of the Pretty Little Liars series. I think this is the 5th one. And I really enjoy the Pretty Little Liars series. I think that they're not like the most complex reads. They're not going to be the best books you've ever read. But they're good. And I think they're worth a read. Yes, there's a lot of them. I've got 4 more before I have to buy any more. So, I enjoyed it. Good book. I think it's worth a read. Next book that I finished was Scent by Margaret Peterson Haddix. This is one that I didn't think I was going to get through this month, but the last few days, like last week, I really surprised myself with being able to get through like 3 books that week and finish them. And I am taking a break from this series for a little bit. I enjoy this book, but I have some other stuff that I want to read first, and then I'll get back to this series. So I'm not giving up on this series because I enjoy it, but I am taking a break. But it's a cute middle grade series. Another one that I finished, Evolution of Mara Dyer. You guys already know I finished this. I did a review of it. I liked it. Woohoo! Another book I finished, Tommy Wallach's We All Looked Up. Super good. Really enjoyed this. I am going to be doing a review of this book, so I'm not really going to talk about it, but there'll be a review of this one coming up soon, but loved it. This is the book that I really didn't think I was going to get through, and then I stayed up late to finish it because I wanted to get through another book. But Beautiful Chaos by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. This one is probably my least favorite. Oops. This one is my least favorite out of the series so far, just because I feel like the other ones had a lot more suspense and build up in them, and this one I feel like was very predictable. But there's one more, so I'm hoping for it to go back to, because I enjoyed the first 2 more, so I'm hoping it goes back to that. So this next one is the one that I decided to drop, and I'm not going to be finishing Reached. I made it about 150 pages in, and anytime I went to pick up this book, I just instantly didn't want to read anymore. I'd be super excited, and then I'd get home, and I'd tell myself I was going to get through some of this, and then I just wouldn't want to read it. And it's really, like, I feel like the Match trilogy could have been just Matched. I don't think that Crossed or Reached were necessary. Crossed was still interesting, though, because all the new characters it brought in, and it was so different. This is just, So, really unimpressed with this one, but I love the first one. So, honestly, I would just recommend reading the first one, because I'm going to, in my mind, imagine that after that it just, slightly different ending, and then it stopped. I live in a world on my own. I read 3 books for English this month, along with a lot of short stories. The way that my class does it is we have an overarching book for the novel for the unit. The first one, we did a romanticism unit, and we read Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, and I loved it. I enjoyed that book so much, and I thought our discussion that we had and all the projects we did were very interesting. And within that, we read a lot of short stories and things like that. I'm not going to mention all those. I'm just doing actual like full-length novels, or yeah. And then our second one, we did a choice novel, and I did mine on The Color Purple, and I'm actually going to use this for a research paper soon, so I have some annotations. I'm going to add in more annotations, but I enjoyed The Color Purple a lot. I just sat down and I was like, I'm going to read it. I'm going to start this. I was supposed to read like 20 pages, and I read like 100, and it's so sad and so heartbreaking, but so hopeful, and like, you don't really expect it to be so hopeful, but it is. So read The Color Purple. It's amazing. We also, during the second unit where I read Color Purple, we also read Death of a Salesman over a couple days. I've already read this play before by Arthur Miller. I enjoyed this a lot more than The Crucible. I hate The Crucible. I like Death of a Salesman. I have feelings about the characters. I'm not going to get into it a lot, but I read this for the second time. Still like it. Read through it. We did this in like 2 days, I think, or 3 days. I think we had to do all of it, but yeah. So now for my TBR for the month. 2 of the books are repeats. I'll do those last. Those are the ones that I didn't get through from last month. They're still there. But first book on my TBR this month is I Was Here by Gail Forman. I love Gail Forman. I loved If I Stay and Where She Went. I have another one of her books to read, but this one just came up first, and I'm very excited to read it. This month I will be finishing up the Beautiful Creatures series with Beautiful Redemption. I'm very excited. This is going to wrap it all up. This is the concluding novel. I'm hoping for some really interesting stuff. I'm hoping it makes a comeback from Beautiful Chaos, which I was less impressed with. I've also got Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. I don't know how to say it. Someone help me. But super excited to read this book. I'm taking a break from the Missing series, like I said, and it is because I need to read Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, The Sword of Summer. I got this book when it first came out, and I never read it, so I'm going to read it, and then I have the second one to read. So I'm really excited to read this because I love Rick Riordan, guys. Alright, next book that I've got for you guys is Requiem by Lauren Oliver. Gonna finish out the Delirium trilogy. I'm super excited to see what happens based off of the plot twist that happened at the end of the third one. It's gonna be so good, so good, so good! I'm really excited. There's lots of storylines that need to be wrapped up, and I hope that it's handled well. Probably the book that I'm most excited for on this entire TBR is 10,000 Skies Above You by Claudia Gray. It's the second in the Firebird trilogy, which I started last month and loved. It was my favorite book that I read last month, hands down. So, most excited to read this. I'll probably blow through this in like 2 days. Not gonna lie. I will be finishing up the Mara Dyer trilogy with Retribution of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. I love the first 2, so I'm super excited to read this one. I'm hoping that it does what the second one added suspense. It wasn't just different from the first, but it was more suspenseful, so I'm hoping that this is even more intense and oh my gosh, and what, and I hope I get some freaking closure on what the heck is going on. Next one, Killer by Sarah Shepard. There will be one of these on my TBR for like the next year. Let's just accept that. So, Killer. And then these are the 2 repeats that I'm continuing from last month. We've got The Wizard Heir by Cinda Williams Chima and Blood Promise by Rochelle Mead. I just didn't have time. I am not super far in either of them. I made very little progress in these. So these are top of the list to get done. And this is kind of sad, but I'm least excited about those 2. So I'm going to force myself to finish them like right away, because then I know I'll blow through pretty much the rest of them because I'm how excited. This month for school, I don't know about I only know about our first book. We'll be reading Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. That's all I know about school. So I'll find out later. It'll be in the wrap up. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you've read any of these books, let me know in the comments. If you're reading any of these books, let me know in the comments. You can keep up with my progress on Goodreads if you're ever curious. My Goodreads will be linked down below, and I update my progress. Every time I read like 2 pages, I update my progress on my currently reading shelf. It's a thing. I love that feature on Goodreads. So I do that a lot. So, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Social media will be down in the description bar. I hope you guys have a good few days. Have a good weekend. I will see you Monday. Read a good book. Mwah!